Okay, so again, the thing is it because of the way you felt or the way just this prestige?
The comfort.
Okay, that's
and
different.
Also the way I felt.
Okay.
Like, for example.
Which is primary, which is secondary,
When I was sitting in business class, all these people that kept walking back, you know what? The way I was thinking, like, y'all keep walking. Like, I'm chilling. You feel me? They are giving me champagne. Even even the steak, the filet mignon that they gave me on board.
My goodness.
They didn't give no filet mignon in the back. The cow in the
back. They got crackers.
In the economy,
they got crackers.
The chicken that they give us
dry.
in the economy,
It's dry.
It's mixed with other stuff that I don't even know what's in there.
Oh,
so it's like, what about you, Tosin? How do you feel about that minimalistic lifestyle?
I mean, so I do agree with both of you guys, right? In that it's really all about value.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Your perceived value, at least, for you.
When I was getting married, I bought my first Gucci shoes. It was dress shoes.
You couldn't go back.
All right. No. It's not that I couldn't go back. I still have them till today.
Okay, so
and that was that's 10 years ago, and they're perfect.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Grind.
BTG.
Hey, if this is your first time, welcome. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our future content. Our podcast is about business and lifestyle. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. My name is Kay.
I'm Alan.
And I'm Tosin. And today we're going to start off by talking about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is one of the legendary investors out there, which many people should have heard about. And if you haven't, please go out, do a little bit more research than what we're going to be talking about today, because today we're just going to be talking about how a few things that we have learned from him, and we will just go around the room just sharing those facts with you guys. Now, we're talking about Warren Buffett because recently he has posted, there was a news conference saying that he was retiring, stepping down as the CEO of Berkshire. And, we just wanted to, give this kind of, what would I call it?
I guess recognition.
Recognition. Because whether you have a big business, a small business, there are some of the things that he has talked about over the years that should apply to whatever you're doing out there.
Yeah, he's been an inspiration to so many people.
Definitely.
Improved.
Even if you're not an investor, like, there are certain, his mindset, the way he thinks, right? I think, you don't have to necessarily be an investor to be able to apply those things.
Definitely.
Into your life. So definitely.
I think the first example I will give is the popular story out there where he put his money down. I believe it was about $1 million, and he bet $1 million.
Only $1 million.
Only $1 million. Well, I mean, look at who we're talking about.
I'm being funny.
He's on the top 5 most richest, depending on the time of the month or whatever, But he put $1 million down, and he bet against hedge fund managers and said that, you know what, all you guys that are doing all this flips and hunts and whatever over the stock market, and telling people that you can make more money or you can outperform the market. Well, you know what? I will make it simple. I'll just buy, an index fund. And we'll see, I believe it was over 10 years, right? And I'm looking over at my producers over there,
Fact check.
Yeah, fact checking me right away, right? We're going to need some fact checks on this one. But it was a 10-year bet. Yeah. And see, hey, who's going to be the one to outperform the market?
Right.
Is it going to be you, hedge fund managers? Or is it just going to be me? I'm just going to let it ride, all right? Yeah. Which is pretty much the market.
Yeah, and
over 10 years, guess what? He beat them handily.
100%.
Yeah.
But I think one of the reasons why he was able to do that, he mentioned in one of his interview, he said that he valued just clarity of thoughts over busyness. He said that he spent 80% of his time reading and trying to understand business and how things actually work. He focused on context a lot, right? For a typical hedge fund manager, they're probably just looking at things from a surface level, right? And I don't know.
Oh no, let's fact check that one.
So,
they have a bunch of analysts diving deep into each company.
Quants and all that.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But here's the thing, though.
Big stats
I think
guys.
one of the things that helps him is his unique way of looking at things, right?
Okay.
You know, because what you consider valuable might not be valuable to the next person.
Correct.
You know, I remember, one of the things that he said was that, focus on value rather than hype. You know, a lot of times, when we're thinking about making a decision, whether it's to invest or to buy into a business or the next best thing, we're always focusing on the hype. Oh, this is the new thing. Come on, everybody got to get on it. But if you don't really understand it, how can you really take advantage of it, right? It
dies down after some time.
Exactly.
It fizzles.
Exactly. And I kind of apply those same principle into my life when it comes to, hey, I know, like, for you don't understand social media like that, but it works, right?
That's right.
But, you can get somebody else to help you do what needs to be done. For me, I don't really understand, stock market like I should. So I don't even try and dabble into,
don't worry, we'll have an episode on that.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Hey,
but I
stay tuned.
I'm on the surface level, like the big companies that I feel like, the Facebooks, or it's called Meta, the Google, the Apples, right? I'm on that surface level, but trying to do research on what's the next thing so I can capitalize on it. And I don't really do that. But the point I'm trying to make is that his principles and his mindset, you can take that, and they're not just necessarily for the stock market in general, but you can apply those things in your life and business and still make out.
That's right.
I think what you were kind of trying to say, is that let me hit it at the heart of it. He basically felt like, or believed, for us regular investors or anyone out there, I think that's why he's important, is that his principle for you guys and everyone is to invest in what you use and what you believe in, right? If you are an avid Netflix user, you understand Netflix for the most part, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And you understand how it is maybe integral to your life and how you decompress from the day. So it's going places, right? So invest in that. And you use Facebook all the time and Instagram. You invest in that because you're seeing how the ads are always there, and ads make money.
Yeah.
And Facebook is taxing those advertisers. So, it's an integral part of the society or in your bubble. So if you don't use those products, it may not make sense and you may not believe in it, and you may be what we call paper hands.
Yeah.
Like if you believe in something, when it goes down, you're like, man, it goes down. Let's buy more. And then you ride it out. And over the long period of time, like 10 years, like he had, you see, okay, I won. Versus if you don't believe in it, the moment it dips, you pull out. So you're losing money. So I think that's like the core, like I would say the biggest principle for everyone at home to take home who doesn't understand much about investing and so forth.
What about you? What's the biggest thing that you've learned just in general from Warren Buffett?
I would say, apart from that example, it's just invest for long term. Right? A lot of people, how would I put it? We grew up in this generation where we saw a lot of unicorns.
Yes.
Right.
A lot of unicorns. And for those out there, unicorns are startups that as soon as they launch or close to when they launch or after some time, they become valued a billion
3 years
or more.
less or something.
All right. They get valued $1 billion or more. So we've seen these scenarios and examples of people in their bedroom, in their garages and whatever, and they just start something and it turns to gold. And we've forgotten that, true wealth is built over time.
Yes.
And therefore we expect things. We have this instant gratification mindset that, hey, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And you guys have all heard me out there saying that, I got people always asking, oh, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Well, this is part of that mindset, right? Instead of maybe developing the expertise around them, they're always trying to jump out into that next thing where you may not even have all the expertise there.
Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you have that long-term mindset that, hey, what I'm doing now, it's going to be gradually increasing. But once I look back over a few years, I can see that I've really come a long ways, or I've really made a certain amount of profit over these certain amount of years versus
that's
I'm trying to hit it big. Every single time I step out the door, I need $1 million.
Can't hit a home run every time. You got to get on base.
Every time
you got to get on base.
You know, that's
why I didn't play baseball. I was swinging for the fence every time.
Trying to kill the
every
ball.
Time. I was like, I struck out. I wonder why.
I can relate with that because I feel the same way, you know, play the long game, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, like you said, like wealth takes time.
Yeah.
Right. And there are certain things that you're going to do in this life that are going to be considered luck. Right.
Yeah.
But there are certain principles that it has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with you following some fundamental principles, right?
And preparation.
And preparation.
And consistency.
So, right, consistency. For me, I feel like whether in your career or in your business, right? I feel like it's the effort and the work that you put in today, compounded over a period of time, is what will ultimately get you to a place of wealth.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
there's a reason why the person who wins a jackpot today of $1 million, the money doesn't
broke
last.
tomorrow.
It's broke tomorrow.
they don't have the infrastructure.
Exactly. Versus the person who worked their tail every day. And today, you know, it's better than yesterday. And tomorrow is going to be better than today. And they're you guys understand how compound works, right? So just imagine that effort, you know, that research, everything that you've done, you know, over time. It's like when you're lifting weight, right? You go today, you know, you go tomorrow, and then eventually you realize that, man, now
I can lift more, actually.
I can lift more, right? Yeah. And that goes with anything that you do in life. You know,
don't get big overnight.
Exactly. You know, there's a quote that says that someone who is sitting under a shade is only able to sit under that shade because they planted that shade. I mean, that tree.
That tree. That's a Nigerian proverb.
You know, a long time ago.
Must be.
So if you think about
I feel like I've heard that one, man.
If you want to, like, the only reason why you're able to sit in this nice, beautiful shade,
you planted that seed
because you planted
and watered
the seed a while back and you watered it.
That's
you know?
right.
I don't envy anybody that's living a luxurious life because at the end of the day, I know that they had to put in work.
Well, let me jump in right there.
You may get lucky to get there, but it takes work to sustain it.
Right. Some things are lucky, but what I'm talking about, okay, like for example, you know, there's a stat out there that says that most people in the United States didn't hit the millionaire status until they were between late 40s and early 50s.
Yeah.
Right? Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that they spent a lot of time and energy building the empire to them actually being able to get to that stage.
Two things too, though. They just failed a lot. Some of them failed a lot, but had the resilience and consistency to keep doing it, right? Consistently doing it.
Exactly.
And innovating.
Exactly. So, and like I said, like some people get lucky, right? You know, and when I say lucky, maybe you went for trend and you got lucky. Maybe you met somebody and that person changed your life.
Yeah.
Or maybe you come from a really, really good family, like our president, who his dad gave him just a small token loan of $3 million.
$3 million.
Right?
It's not that much.
You have those cases, right? But you can't always bank on those because that's what you consider luck, right?
Right.
But what I'm talking about is you don't have no loan, right? You don't come from a rich family. You know, you're not necessarily in a position where you've been able to take advantage of something temporarily. You started from the beginning. I mean, from the bottom, like what Drake said, started from the bottom. You started from the bottom and you worked your tail off.
So the issue that I have with that, yes, it does take time to build that wealth. But everything we hear around us, you know, we had an episode about the rat race.
Right.
That's pretty much what it is. It's like people can't wait for that, you know, if it's going to be 10, 20, 30 years.
Think about it. I don't mean to cut you off, but today everyone's been taught that way, right?
Yeah.
Because Instagram, you scroll fast.
Some person is living their best life on the bench.
What am I doing with my life?
But even on let's not even go to social media. Emails, like you go quickly.
Let's go old school.
When you're reading even the news, you're just scrolling fast. Everything is like fast. We want it now.
Somebody sold their business for
patience.
30 million, 50 million,
Right.
100, 1 billion, whatever. We're seeing all these things out there, and it makes you feel like I must be missing out on
Yeah, but
something
the person who
because
sold their business, the reason why they were able to do that is because they put in the groundwork and they steadily work until it was valuable enough.
On average, not every time, but I will say to bring it back to the principle of Warren Buffett, I think he said time and interest is always on your side, right? If you're alive that long, right? But so that's why he was able to build it. If you put a little bit over time, it's gonna compound, and you'll see the fruits of your labor over someone who try to just risk it. The probability of hitting a win, on just some putting all your money in or stacking, whatever on one few or couple of times is lower versus if you just put a little bit of money. Like the person who was a couple years, he swore he was going to win the lottery. You remember that? He swore he was going to win the lottery. I don't mean to joke on him because it's not really funny when, seeing that he lost everything, his wife and everything, but it's kind of like,
I don't know that story.
Yeah. I think he bought like $40,000 or $50,000 worth of tickets, something like that. And then or maybe it was 140. I don't remember. He bought a lot of tickets and he mathematically thought he was going to win. And I mathematically was like, how is this a short thing? The math isn't mathing, right? Right. And so he did win I think he won like 40 or was it 400, but it wasn't $1 billion.
No.
And he liquidated his retirement and everything and bought more and all that stuff. And my whole point is, there's no exact science to winning big quickly on one go. So you have to go on. You can kind of take those same principles, like he said, and apply it to life, to business. Like that's why Kobe is great. Yeah. Like I was never a Kobe fan. I was an Allen Iverson fan until later, right? And then I was like, dang, Kobe really works hard. And, I started, he wrote books, all that stuff, Mamba mentality. And he'll tell you, he was like, when I was younger, I was absolutely terrible at basketball. Like, I thought I was halfway decent, but I was trash. I got ran. And he decided that he could be good because he put the work. And he said, people are practicing twice a day. I'm getting up doing 1 or 2 practices in the morning, 1 or 2 practices after. Over the years, you practicing twice a day. I'm practicing 4 times a day.
Catch up with you.
We're 5 years down. I'm 10 years. I'm at year 10. You're at year 5. Like we're not even close. Yeah. And that's how with interest, with business, with anything in life, going to the gym, like you said, you can't wake up and work out. The spring break people who wake up, they're like, spring break's in a week. I got 3 days. I'm going hard. You can't catch up to someone who's been working out the last 2 years if y'all start at the same spot. No. It just is not going to happen. The same principle applies to everything. That's why I feel like, it's almost a no-brainer when you think about this when it applies to investing, because it's true in everything else. But for some reason, people always want to be smarter than everything. It's okay to apply some, amount of risk and do risky things, but that shouldn't be your sole plan, right? We talked about that, being financial bold and all that stuff. But you should have the groundwork to where this is what we consistently do every day. Yeah. And every now and then we might take a little bit of risk and so forth. But that is what I have to say on that.
No, I think if we go back to that value that Warren Buffett is always talking about, all right. Actually, one of our producers said that he doesn't want to be labeled as
Warren Buffett doesn't want to be labeled
as a value investor anymore. Right? But one other thing that I liked about his track record, although he did have some losses there or some bad investments out there, you can go out and research quite a few of them out there. But he was always looking at the fundamentals of every single business.
Right.
And that I applied it. I mean, it's not perfect. Yes, I've also had my own losses and bad investments and bad moves. But it just reminds me that in everything, whenever we're looking at a potential business that we want to start, a potential business we want to buy, right? We need to look at the fundamentals of all of those businesses, not just the numbers, right? You've got to look at, who are the people there?
Yeah.
What is the values inside the company? What is the, what do you call it? What's the morale like? Right? What kind of processes do they have? What kind of systems do they have? What kind of customers?
Understand the business as a
Correct. What kind of customers do they have, right? If there's a new face that comes in, all these customers just going to run away because there's a new face. And, you never know. So it's not just about looking at the numbers, because numbers can tell a whole different story. But then when you look at the fundamentals of any business, it can tell a whole complete different type of story.
I mean, even when you look at, just the losses that you talked about, right? At the end of the day, when you talk about the fundamentals, I think part of fundamentals is looking at having a proper risk assessment and being able to put the necessary hedges to make sure that even when you lose some, it's not, these
crippling.
are calculated risks that it's not going to cripple you. Does that make sense? So
good
whether in business or whatever decisions that you make, when I used to be in the mortgage industry, right, as a trader, and we did this all the time where as we're trading, like, okay, we're looking at people's credit score, 700 and above, 600 to 700. That's the mid tier. And then you got the
below 600.
The below. And the below ones are you make money from the really low credit score, but the thing is,
because it's higher
risk,
interest.
high interest, high risk. Yeah.
So as you deal with those type of loans, you need to put some hedging in place
the risk
by bringing in some really, really good credit score, so that even if you lose some, it's okay because you've already factored that into your plan. But I'm kind of curious though, because speaking of his principles, one of the things that I heard that he did was he lived in the same house for so long. And he rode the same car for so long.
I think that really has to be fact checked.
He was a minimalist, right? And as Nigerians, we got my fellow Nigerian brothers, that's not, we're not, I think, you didn't come to the comedy show. And the comedy show that I went to, produced by our producer
Shabak.
Yeah, he the comedian said that as Nigerians, we're not humbled at all. Like, it's not in our nature. Like, how are people gonna know I'm getting money? If they don't see me driving a nice car,
that's right,
live in the big house, all these things, right?
That's funny.
He was like, because if you understand where we're coming from, then you'll be able to understand why we do what we do, right?
Right.
So what do you guys think about that? Like, making all that money, but still applying a very minimalistic lifestyle.
Let me jump in.
Let me let you. I know you're always going to say
sentences.
something.
All right. I don't think Warren Buffett was flying the commercial.
You sure you didn't see him on the plane?
I didn't see him in no economy where I was. All right.
Dude, they said the guy was eating McDonald's. He's still.
Can we get a fact check on that?
We definitely need a fact check on that.
They said we're good.
He was definitely not flying commercial.
And he was
McDonald's though?
How he lived to 80?
He
was in New York a lot. He was in New York a lot, and I doubt that he was in the up and coming neighborhoods of New York whenever he stayed in New York. Right?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm gonna say, that fact check.
I mean, obviously,
but I get your point.
They're trying to paint a picture, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to say that, because obviously when the guy leaves his house, I'm sure he has a limo service, right? All the things, right? But then when he gets back to his comfort zone, is it Nebraska? Is that where? I don't even know where he lives, but wherever he lives, they're saying that
fact check.
The home that he paid for is like $30,000 or $35,000.
He lives in Nebraska. Yeah.
He's been living in there, and he's still living in there. And there's like he finally said yes to being able to upgrade the Cadillac that he was driving or whatever. So I was like,
I'll just put an asterisk on that thing. But go ahead, Alan. Go ahead and answer the real question, because I'm taking us off. I'm taking us off.
So the question is understanding how they painted his lifestyle, his minimalistic lifestyle.
So
So
I know y'all, man.
How do you guys feel about
before
that?
y'all say anything? I am a minimalist. Like honestly, with respect to splurging. So I think there are certain things that, it's okay to elevate a little bit. Do things that improve your efficiency and all that thing. So go to a gym where you have time to work out.
But you go to Lifetime.
Okay, that's a new thing, bro. And that's because it's like across the street, literally.
If y'all don't know out there,
Lifetime.
No. Let's not even call it.
Look.
They don't even call themselves a gym.
No.
Okay.
It's a Lifetime.
Don't try to wait. Don't try to put me on blast like I'm bougie.
No, but you said you were a minimalist.
No. With the real.
Like I go out.
Planet Fitness.
No.
Let me finish.
What do you call? What's this one that we were doing? It was Camp Gladiator. You go outside, you take your own yoga
But the
mat.
thing is, you didn't.
outside.
Okay. They're roasting. I used to do that, by the way, and it's not because it's not again with them realms. It's convenient and it's quick. Like I can get in and get out. And even if you have kids, you can't take. You got to find a time to watch your kid to go to whatever.
Of course.
But Lifetime, you can go there. They have sports.
All right, let's
and whatever.
stop selling for Lifetime. Until they sponsor.
My whole point is like food. Eat things that keep you healthy, maintain you. Things that are needed to make you operate at a high level and be efficient.
And where do you shop, sir?
Those are the things.
Trader Joe.
No, he shops at Whole
my
Foods.
garden.
Ooh.
My garden. We planted it. We grown the crops for free. No,
So essentially what you're saying is
things
that are considered valuable to you,
valuable to my efficiency and my state of mind,
which
right?
is still you.
Is
Right?
not splurging.
But it is not splurging.
No.
I'm not going out buying Gucci and Versace all the time.
It's how you can-
Y'all can
Why
call
you
me
looking
out.
at me?
It's like, because for me, like I love to spend on traveling
Right. So
and food, but anything else, bro, I'm so cheap when it comes to clothes.
right. So exactly. I'm saying like I guess some people feel the need when they make more money. Let me buy the bigger house. Do you need the bigger house or do you want the bigger house?
Yeah.
Let me buy the bigger, better car.
Yeah.
Do you need the bigger, better car or do you just
I mean, it
want
depends
it?
on how you define need.
Do you need the Gucci shoes or whatever, or do you just want it? Do you need the Gucci? Like there are things where it's like need versus want.
Yeah.
To me, it's a need to work out. The gym here is 2 minutes across the street versus
need to work
25 minutes. That's like 25 minutes. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But other than that, to me, I do appreciate his humility in how he spent.
Definitely.
And it's not really, for me, it's not because I feel like, I just want to be frugal to save. It's more so that and this is not judgment on anyone. It's more so that I don't feel like wasting. So I feel like I could eventually save some of that money to help other people, honestly, truly, or to do something else. I feel like maybe it's a little bit of an underdog in me, feeling that like, or imposter syndrome. But to me, I feel like buying luxury brands all the time and doing luxury things doesn't really align with me.
Well, so just real quick, my mother-in-law, may her soul rest in peace. We used to have conversations, and I would tell her that I would never buy business class when I'm flying. I said, we both gonna get that at the same time. And you know what she said? She
Until
said, if
you fly far.
She said, if you ain't got it, just say you ain't got it.
That's Nigerian, no.
She said, if you ain't got it, just say you ain't got it. And guess what? One time,
You couldn't
flew
go back.
business class.
You said my back feels good, my legs feel good.
I feel the same way as
Oh my God. Look,
after the flight, I was like, man.
you can't go back. It's so hard, right?
So the next time I book economy, right? And I felt some type of way walking. And then I got to the
You're
back.
struggling.
And I'm like, God, please forgive me. I was like, man, this must be what it feels like to be poor. Literally, that's how I thought.
you were already used to seeing the peasants
But
walk
the thing
by
is-
you as
but the
they were
thing is-
going to the back.
Okay, so again, the thing is it because of the way you felt or the way just this prestige?
The comfort.
Okay, that's
And
different.
also the way I felt.
Okay.
Like, for example.
Which is primary,
when I was
which is
sitting in
secondary,
when I was
though.
sitting in business class, all these people that kept walking back. You know what? The way I was
looked
thinking,
at you.
y'all keep walking. Like, I'm chilling. You feel me? They had given me champagne. Even even the steak, the filet mignon that they gave me on board.
My goodness.
It was,
They killed the cow back. They killed the cow in
The back, they got crackers.
in the economy.
They got crackers.
The chicken that they gave us in
dry.
the economy
It's dry.
it's mixed with other stuff that I don't even know what's in there. So
Oh,
it's like,
Lord.
He said-
what about you, Tosin? How do you feel about that minimalistic lifestyle?
I mean, so I do agree with both of you guys, right? In that it's really all about value.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Your perceived value, at least for you.
When I was getting married, I bought my first Gucci shoes. It was dress shoes.
you couldn't go back.
All right. No. It's not that I couldn't go back. I still have them till today.
Okay, so
And that was that's 10 years ago, and they're perfect.
so then
I
you
just get them
understood.
shoe shine.
You understood why.
So you're buying. So if you're buying for things that will last in value, but not just buying because
Just to stunt.
just the
That's
stunt,
what I
and then
was
you
trying to get
trash
at.
it and whatever. No. Same thing. I had never bought a brand new car in my life until I
you
bought my
bought one.
Tesla. But guess what? That was in 2017, and I still got it till
got it,
today.
yeah.
All right.
So when you spend,
So
you keep your
I
stuff.
want to
That's-
spend.
that's
I
how I
want to
am too.
spend for value,
Yeah.
and yes, it may be designer. It may be what some people consider.
But you don't
luxury
wanna worry
or whatever.
about it.
Yeah.
So
but
after
when I
the fact.
spend it, it's gotta bring
10
multiple
years of
times
things.
value.
Yes.
Yeah.
From whatever that spending is.
Yeah.
And
If you
maybe-
have it at that time,
that's
right?
correct. It's kind of like all these, wealthy folks, right?
Yeah.
Why do they fly private? Well, they say they value their time.
Yeah.
Right.
They can break it down. When I go to the airport, I've got to go 2 hours early. I got to go
Yeah.
into line on this and that and that.
They have
And then by the
shuttles
time
that
I
come
get
with
there, maybe there are delays and whatever. I can go make a deal, come back the same day.
Make another deal.
Yeah. And make another deal.
Make twice as much money.
Yeah. Make 3 times as
Right,
much money
exactly.
as you flying out for 1 week just because you got to be there. You
Yeah.
don't want to deal with all the headache.
Yeah.
Right.
So
It's
if it
all about
serves
that
a
value.
purpose
Correct.
other than your ego and stunting,
And- yeah,
unless
and
that is
stunt.
your marketing move
Correct.
and
And I
PR, then it makes sense.
And I think that's what I was really playing on when
Yeah.
we were talking
I think
about
we're all
Warren
on the same
Buffett,
thing.
right?
Yeah.
It's not like, he maybe has his primary
yeah.
house or
Yeah.
whatever, drives his first car.
Yeah.
But truthfully, he probably enjoys way more luxury than
Right.
most other
Yeah.
people. But I think it's in that mindset of,
Yeah.
hey, I'm only going to spend this much.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because it'll make me a little bit more comfortable, it'll get me more efficient,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it'll provide value.
Yeah.
Now he's a billionaire. He could have, driven
Right.
to New York in a gold car,
Yeah. Yeah.
all gold everywhere,
Yeah.
40-inch rims,
Yeah.
stunting on everybody there.
Yeah.
But, he didn't.
So wrap it up for us. What a take home key, maybe 3 points.
Well, before we do those 3 points, definitely I want everyone at home, we're always promoters, big promoters of making sure to educate yourselves. All right. And one thing that everyone always does is usually you're going to educate yourself about successful people. Warren Buffett is one of those, probably on most people's metrics. All right. So definitely take some time. Go out there, research his life, his investment style, some of the successes he had, some of the failures that he had, lots and lots of books, interviews, podcasts, whatever out there. All right. But 3 takeaways that I would say. Number 1, invest for the long term.
Yeah.
Please. It's not about instant gratification, right? We build it slowly and it stays stronger over time. Number 2, look for the fundamentals whenever you're doing anything or about to jump into anything.
Yeah.
It's not about the numbers. It's not about, all the flashiness, of what people are portraying outwardly
Yes.
about whatever
Understand
industry, business it is. You got to understand the
Yeah.
underlying facts.
Yeah.
All right. And number 3, spend for value.
Yeah.
All right. It doesn't mean that you won't spend big, but you're spending because you are deriving value from whatever it is, not because of what other people are doing out there, whether it's the rat race, living up to comparing yourselves to the Joneses,
Joneses.
all kinds of analogies that are out there.
Yeah.
Please spend for value and That's it for today.
And if you go to Whole Foods, that's okay. our food in America is not that great. If you're in another country,
Alan in aisle 3, all right?
Nah, man. If we was in another country, I would just eat their food because it's better.
And guys,
But we don't have that luxury here.
if you can drop it in the comment section, what is something about Warren Buffett's life? Buffett's life that you've learned. Drop it in the comment section. We want to hear from you, and please share this with your friend who might benefit from this video. Make sure you like, share,
and subscribe.
Until next time, peace.
Why is it sounding like he's dead or something?
I know, right?
He's not dead. I don't know if this is gonna make it in. He ain't dead. All right. He just retired. All right. So, but it's still something to learn.